I'm Makina.
Hi, I'm Dustin. We're here with the Japan Questions Answered channel, and today we're going to be talking about culture shock between Japanese and Western couples. Now, you and I have been together for more than 2 years now.
2.5?
Yes, and we've had some periods of culture shock, although I must say I think it depends more on the individual person than on the actual culture itself. So, you and I think we're pretty open-minded, right?
I think so, and we are both kind of used to both cultures, like Japanese culture or Asian culture, and then the Western culture for me.
Right, because you lived in the UK for a year, right? You did some studying there?
Yep.
And you also knew a lot about, like, Western culture before that. You like Western movies and things like that?
Yeah, and I did have a few non-Japanese friends in Japan.
Yep. So you're pretty open-minded in that direction, and I lived in Korea for 3 years before I came to Japan. So I was used to trying new things, doing new things, whatever, so...
Or used to Asian cultures?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's some overlap between Korea and Japan for the culture, so I'm used to different things. I guess we're both pretty compatible in that way. But we still managed to make a list of a few culture shock items. So the first item that we're going to mention on this list is, you mentioned American optimism, right, Akina?
Yes.
Now, what exactly is that? I wasn't really fully aware of it until you told me about it.
Well, I think this is more to do with the jobs, typically.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, like, I think it depends on the person too, but I felt you are always open to anything or like really positive about anything. Like if you fail to do anything, then you are always like, it's okay, we can do this. Or like if our plan didn't go well, then you will go like, oh well, we can do this or something like that. Not like just being negative about being imperfect.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on the person. You know, it's not like every Westerner or American is going to be positive all the time. But I do think there is a difference. You mentioned that you grew up during a harder economic time in Japan, whereas I grew up in the 1990s, which was like everything's like working out. We're number one. There's no Soviet Union.
Yeah, like if I have to pick up one really big difference between us, is how we spent our teenage time, maybe.
Okay.
Like in my teenage time, Japanese economy was getting really lower and lower and lower, and we spent the rest of like 10 years, 20 years in a depression, in economic wise. And on the other side, you were in the really like the best economy, right? Maybe you are being like, you were proud of being American as well at the time. I guess you are now, but like at the time you were like, oh baby, we are in the best country of the world.
Yeah, I think when I got older, when I was in middle school and high school, I started thinking like, oh, Europe's way better and stuff like that. But when I was young, all the kids, all the boys were like, oh yeah, like USA and stuff like that. USA and yeah, China wasn't a growing power at that time, or at least no one had them on their radar screen, and there was no terrorist threats or anything, so there was like nothing to worry about at all.
Yeah, so I feel like it grew a really big confidence in your core.
Okay.
So many Americans have like, oh, let's do this, or like we can do this attitude.
Or try new things and stuff
yeah,
like that.
or like even if we fail, we can just get a lesson from it, and that's it, done, cry over it. So it was kind of good for me to learn the attitude, because Japanese tend to be really perfectionist.
Okay.
So if you have like a tiny minor detail mistakes, then people will go like, oh shoot.
Okay. Yeah, so that's an interesting one, boss. Now, as for the second culture shock, we actually have a different culture for the marijuana and the weed thing. Like, basically in America, it depends on the person and where you're from and stuff, but it's becoming very widely accepted that, like, even if you don't smoke weed or if you don't do marijuana, it's seen as something that, like, maybe it should be legalized because we spend so much money on this drug war. It's becoming very accepted. Maybe you don't agree with it, I don't know, but like, I don't personally smoke marijuana, but it's something that I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer that it just should be legalized. Maybe that's crazy, I don't know. But in Japan,
It's very illegal. It's so illegal.
Yeah.
And I was really shocked when I was in the UK that people don't really mind about talking about marijuana, and even Americans. And people don't really hesitate to say like, yeah, I tried marijuana, or like I do marijuana once in a while just for fun. It's not addictive. And I'm like, what?
yeah, I think it's just ingrained in them here that like, well, anything drug related is going to be bad, and I don't know. I guess no one would do that here, right? Like,
Well, if you're like innocent, common, public.
yeah. I think people could do drugs here, but it's extremely rare because the consequences are so strict for doing any kind of drug-related thing here. So yeah, it's really wild. But like, I'm thinking back to my high school days, and basically in high school, like kids could be like smoking cigarettes in the bathroom, or smoking marijuana, or getting pregnant, or whatever, like all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, in comparison to Japan, like never in a million years would I see anything like that happen in a high school here. Maybe somewhere, but not as high schools I've seen.
So next,
So the next cultural shock item is the culture of having a bath at night versus having a shower in the morning. Now, I don't know how it works in Japan, but everyone's taking baths at night before they go to sleep. Now, why do they do that, Akina? You don't know why? Alright, I'll tell you what I think is the reason. You can tell me if it's right, okay, boss? So, people take a bath at night because it's relaxing before going to sleep, right? Mm-hmm. And they also want to clean their bodies off before going into the bed. That way they keep their beds, like, clean for longer. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah. Now, why do we take showers in the morning? Why do you think that is?
Because you're weird?
No. Well, I think our hair types are different. So if I take a shower at night, or a bath at night, I'm going to wake up with my hair sticking up like static electricity mode, or I'm going to look like a maniac. But if I take a shower in the morning, then it's easy. My hair looks like semi-normal then. I can't really do the bath thing at night with my hair or my body or whatever looking normal. It just doesn't feel right. The shower in the morning wakes me up, but as it is now, like, she likes to take baths at night, so I usually just end up taking like a bath or shower in the morning and night, just to kind of get the best of both worlds. But maybe it's not very eco-friendly, you know what I'm saying? Almost everyone here takes a bath too, right? So like, people don't usually take showers.
Yeah, we like to soak ourselves in the bathtub.
That's kind of wasting water though, right?
But you take showers like so long and wasting.
No, I don't take it that long. I take like a 5-minute shower.
I think that could be true in terms of the use of water.
But for other things, we waste a lot of energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as far as the number 4 item on our list, this is telling parents about relationships. It seems like we have a difference in culture with that, right? It's not as common to tell family or friends about a person you're dating.
I think we can casually tell to friends, but
Okay.
if you are telling to a parent or parents, that's gonna be kind of awkward. And also, if you could tell them that you're dating someone, you're kind of somewhat serious about the relationship.
Okay. Yeah, I guess for me, like, maybe I'm more quick to tell parents or other people about a relationship because I just feel like I don't feel like I have anything to hide, and I don't really care that much. Like, if I'm telling someone, it's not so serious, you know what I mean? Just telling someone isn't that serious. So I think I told my parents pretty quick about Akina, but like, it took a while for you to tell your parents about me, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's pretty normal here, and that's fine. Like, I wasn't really worried about it. But it's just a difference in culture. I did meet friends of yours pretty early on, so yeah.
If a Japanese girl bring a boy to their home or parents to introduce, then that's a big sign of future.
Yeah, that's dead serious right there. That pretty much means that you might even be going there to ask permission to marry. That's how serious it is. So, yeah, very interesting. Okay, last on our list of culture shock items is the act of declaring that you're boyfriend and girlfriend. Usually in the West, if we're dating someone, you just kind of slowly get closer to the person and you kind of just know that you're boyfriend and girlfriend without necessarily having to say it, I guess. But I guess it's different here, right, in Japan?
Yeah, I think most of the people do like, oh, I like you and I'm hoping to be your boyfriend or girlfriend. Or like, would you be my girlfriend?
Yeah. I guess in a way it almost sounds like elementary school mode when you say like, would you be my girlfriend? Maybe that's our own problem in America. Maybe we should be more direct with that. But we were together and she didn't even know if we were girlfriend or boyfriend, but I thought we basically were. So she had to ask her friend to like...
No, I didn't ask it. Like, okay. I was kind of like, oh, probably I'll know when he introduced me to his friend, saying like, oh, this is my girlfriend,
okay.
Akina. But like, a friend of mine was like really impatient. Like, you're seeing the guy, right? And you have to confirm. And let's go on to a double date. I'll just ask and then make it clear for you.
What did she ask? Did she say like, how long have you been dating?
Yeah,
something?
So she was like, her original plan was like, let her boyfriend to ask about it.
Okay.
Like when I left to the toilet or something.
Yep.
Then he was like really into talking about fishing, so she got again impatient. She just said like, decide to go.
Okay, like, so what did she ask? I forget. Like, how long have you been dating or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I didn't even notice. Like, I just answered, oh, like whatever. I don't know how long it was, 2 months or something.
Yeah.
At that time, I was like, yeah, 2 months. I didn't even notice that anything happened there.
But at the same time, I was like, oh, really? Okay. Because I was like...
She told you later? Or did she tell you that same night? You were there? You came back?
Yeah,
okay,
like
okay.
she asked it in front of us. And I was like, it was just about 2 months after we met. And I kind of thought that we were together, but I was not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And you answered like 2 months. I was surprised because that was basically since we met. So like, have we been boyfriend and girlfriend for the
Well, I don't think she
time?
said boyfriend and girlfriend. She just said how long are you dating or something.
I think she said how long have you been together?
Oh, nice. Anyway, that was a bit of a shock, I guess. I mean, to me, I didn't notice any problem. Anyway, most of the time, to be honest, we don't really have any culture shocks. I think we just get along very well. And I think the Japanese culture is not so different. Maybe it's like we mentioned before, I lived in Korea, so I already knew about different things. So I don't feel too much culture shock, but I guess it's always possible if you date someone.
Yeah, like the culture shock actually probably happens outside of the relationship usually.
Yeah.
Like we have a series called Dark Sides of Japan on our Patreon. And it could be one of these culture shocks. Not like just specifically for us, but like maybe just generally speaking for Americans or for the Westerners. We just did like work to the death kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
we did a topic work to the death.
Yeah, and that was probably quite surprising for you in general.
That is. I think I'm shielded from a lot of that being a foreigner here. You can still feel it, but the jobs I've worked here, I haven't felt so much pressure. So you can feel some culture shock, maybe outside of relationships more than actual relationship stuff.
So yeah, I would say relationships is about connection between one person and another.
Yep.
So if it's really depends on the personality, I think.
Yeah.
So we don't really have too much differences or too much shocks between us.
I agree.
Too many shocks.
I agree. That's a good thing. Anyway, if you're interested in learning more about shocking aspects of Japan, then feel free to check out our Dark Side of Japan series, which Akina just mentioned. We got that as a Patreon-only series, and you got a link to that down below in the description box. Or if you want to see some more episodes about dating in Japan, feel free to check out our episode about is it easy to find a Japanese girlfriend? Or how do Japanese people date each other? I got those links down below in the description as well. And as always, thanks for watching this video, everybody. Why don't you leave a comment? Let us know what you think.